Hello, everyone. My name is Harsh. I work at Baker Tilly International as the leader for advisory services. I'm here in Warsaw, Poland, joined by Arnaud and Katarzyna. Katarzyna is the ESG leader at Baker Tilly Poland and also the chair of the BTI ESG Assurance Committee. Arnaud is the leader at Baker Tilly France for ESG services and also the chair of BTI Advisory Committee. So thank you both of you for being here and for sharing your thoughts on this very important subject. Arnaud and Katarzyna, they're working closely with our member firms across the network to build collaboration, to share best practices and ensure that we deliver the best value services to our clients. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you a question here. Let's say you meet a client and this is an elevator pitch where the client asks you, why do I need ESG? I'm a growing company, moved from small and medium to the mid sector.
Yeah.
What would be your elevator pitch to the client of why ESG is important for their business?
Well, I would say to mitigate risks, because ESG risks are risks across the whole organization.
Yep.
Every single organization works with climate law. Well, around it, has to comply. Every single organization employs people or works with people, and every single organization has to manage different aspects. And that's where the ESG related to risks, impacts, risks, and opportunities come into play. And everyone wants to build value and be resistant.
Yep.
And there's no business resilience without ESG implementation into the business strategy. Because for me, there's no business strategy and ESG strategy. There's this golden thread between the two. That's a nice approach, but the one I prefer is one integrated strategy.
In fact, ESG is no longer a niche topic. It's becoming central for the competitive advantage of our clients. And why so? Because there are mainly four pressures that are pushing our clients toward ESG. Number one, their own clients. Their clients wants them to show what they deliver in terms of ESG, because ESG is now in the criteria in the tenders document, etc. Number two, their investors, their bankers. If you want a better interest rate, you need to show that you have moved forward on ESG. Number three, their employees. They want to know why they work and who they work for. So they want to understand the responsibility of their own company. And number four, the regulation. The regulation is evolving. So basically, what I always say to our clients, if you feel that on these four topics, your clients, your investor, your people, or the regulation, you are under pressure regarding ESG, it means that you have to move forward on ESG. And that's, if you want to remain and to stay in the business in the next 20 years, you have to start investing now.
And I would even add the fifth one, competitors. And you had this example before the interview when we talked about your client that lost a client because of not having ESG implement.
Yeah, absolutely. I can quickly. This business case is interesting. One of our clients came to us saying, "Okay, I need to improve my ESG and have the basis because in a recent competition, I lost against one of my competitors because I was lacking an ESG strategy." And this client also told us, "But I know that my competitors is not good in ESG. It just pretends to. So please help us to have something solid because I don't want to lose a market for such a reason in the future." So now we are working with them not just to do the let's say the basic about ESG, but for this client to ensure its competitive advantage on the long run. And very often I use this example when I'm asked about return on investments about ESG, because winning a market of, I don't know, 500,000 euro, it's a good return on investment.
Absolutely. And the loss of a client can easily be calculated.
Absolutely.
And that's what's done as part of double materiality assessment, that we can calculate the risks and the opportunities. And that solid knowledge, it's like an X-ray scan of an organization.
So what I hear from you is, first of all, ESG strategy is an integral part of the business strategy, but also ESG is not a cost. It's something that can be profitable for an organization. Can you share a little bit more about the different lenses through which you look ESG when it comes to a business, where be it a customer, be it internal employees? How does ESG create a positive impact for a business?
So, but here maybe we can build again with the previous example, because there are the first thing when you think about ESG and return on investment is that you can reduce costs. Basically, if you save water, if you manage your waste in a better way, if you reduce your carbon footprint, if you reduce your energy consumption, you reduce cost, and this has a direct impact on your P&L.
That's
Easy.
very practical,
Very
very
practical.
visible. But in order to see that, you need to measure.
Absolutely. Then also the other way to measure the return on investment is this competitive advantage. When now in most of the tenders, the competition, you are also evaluated based on your ESG criteria. So it can change the decision of your clients if you are ahead of your competitors in terms of ESG. Then, of course, third point is that it's proven now that with ESG, with a sustainability strategy, you have a better capability to retain your best employees and attract also the best employees. And now in most of the sectors, we are struggling to get the best people. And we know how much money we spend to hire the best people, to find them and hire them. So here as well, you can have a good return on investments. And maybe last one, which is very straight to the point, and we see that very often in France, but I think everywhere in Europe, your banker asks you if you had done, for example, a carbon footprint. If you had a carbon footprint, your banker will tick a box and you will have a lower interest rate.
And I would like to focus on an internal benefit that my client has recently emphasized to me, is the internal coordination and collaboration. Because by implementing ESG and starting with the materiality approach, which means selecting which impacts, risks, and opportunities really matter to the client's business, you integrate the internal stakeholders and you let them talk. And often they do talk in such a group for the first time. So by creating the internal ESG infrastructure within the client's business, you help them to connect the dots and to see the gaps. And they get the opportunity to cover the gaps.
It's also not just from the clients, but within Baker Tilly, when I speak with our firms and they talk about hiring people to work in Baker Tilly firms, a lot of them say that we need to have a purpose of why we join an organization, and standing for something, having a purpose, values which connect to ESG is important for the next generation of talent. I think they want to see a world where ESG is taken seriously, where it's a positive impact on the environment that they have. Now, I want to ask a question related to the business side of ESG and more specifically a question for ESG advisory. Is, Arnaud, in your view, why should clients trust Baker Tilly when it comes to ESG advisory services? What makes us stand out?
I think that the first thing is that we are driven at Baker Tilly by competitive advantage. We are not only focusing on regulation and regulatory topics. They are important, but they are becoming a kind of a commodity. What our client wants is how they can go further So that's what we deliver to them on a daily basis. Second thing is that we are a global network. We have this global open-minded positioning. But at the same time, we want to be grounded and to be relevant at a local level because we know the local markets, because we know the local approach, because of course we know the local regulation. So that for us is very important. And after, I would say that probably the last point is that we are pragmatic. We address the mid-market. And we have to go straight to the point, basically. So we have to deliver advisory services that can transform into concrete action for our clients. So we focus on that on a daily basis.
And we can pick up the client on their journey. Doesn't matter where they are. And if I may, I think it is a distinguishing point that both of us, we do have, well, together we have 4 years of ESG sustainability experience, and you do get, as a client, you do get to see us on the project.
Just for everyone's clarification, even though combined we have 40 years of ESG experience, it doesn't show when you look at Arnaud and Katarzyna. And it's very interesting that you talk about the concrete steps that you offer to the client. And, in our discussions, what I've realized is ESG is not a one-time solution. It's not a one-time approach. It's a continuous approach to assist the client, create value consistently, stay relevant, stay competitive. To the examples that you mentioned, that the client lost out because ESG was not part of their business. So the question that I have is, looking at our approach at ESG services, how are we delivering value consistently throughout the life cycle of a client's journey?
It's a continuous learning approach.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, first we have to sum up our approach. Our approach is to lead the sustainable transformation of our clients, to help them have more impact. That's our goal. But now it's how do we deliver that concretely? In fact, we have to sum up the first step. You're a company that starts from scratch. How do we help you? First of all, you will need a training. You will need training because we understand when we talk with our clients that they have first a lack of understanding of what is ESG. So first of all, training. Second point, understand where you start from, because there is no company in the world that starts from zero in terms of sustainability. There is always a social policy, an environmental strategy, but we have to understand what the client has, what is the starting point.
That's something that we often see on the ESGDD, that there is a lot, but the name may be different, that the client may not be aware that it's part of sustainability strategy.
And then where we have the ability to be very efficient is because we are materiality driven. We want to have the right conversation with our clients. So we're going to focus on what matters for their business. And as you say, that's through our experience that we know what is important for a sector or another sector or another place in the world, etc. Then I would say that once you know, once you are trained, you know where you start from, you know what is material for your business, then you can start to have concrete actions and you can start moving forward. And here, I think that with our mid-market clients, the idea is not to tell them, okay, in 2 years, you're going to be the star of your sector in terms of ESG. That's a long path. And maybe your topic is how to hire in a better way. Maybe your topic is about carbon footprint. Maybe your topic is about energy efficiency. So we're going to start with that. And then years after years, we're going to move to another project. And we have to help them understand that it's a long process. And it's not a short race. It's more a marathon, and we'll have to accompany them in this journey.
We also hope to communicate in a way that avoids greenwashing. So make the ethical and responsible communication. Because as Arnaud said before, you need to communicate, because if you don't communicate your sustainability approach, you may lose a client. But what's very important for me in my work with clients is that by working with Baker Tilly, the client does not only get a product, but also this transformational approach. So the knowledge stays within the client's organization.
Very nice, very interesting. We got to land this plane, and if I take the liberty to summarize what I've heard through this dialogue is, first of all, ESG is not a good to have. It is strategically important for clients who want to stay relevant in today's competitive business environment to make it part of their DNA. Second of all, ESG is not a department. It is something that touches upon all facets of the business, be it your employees, be it your customers, be it your supply chain and whatnot. And I think also very important is we're lucky to have experts like yourself in the Baker Tilly network who devote their time and effort to make sure that it's not just your local market, but the global community benefits from your 40 years of collective experience. And I want to thank you for your time and effort leading this global initiative. So Arnaud and Katarzyna, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your insights. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arch.